Minnie? Hey, hey, Minnie. Mm. Where you headed? I got some business to take care of. All right, then. Well, bye. Bye. Now, she mad at me because I got that job at Miss Hill. Don't worry about her. She always mad about something. Hey, Blake. Yes, ma'am. Everything okay? Blake, stop here. You got some more murder questions for me? Oh, no.
Good morning, good morning. I know it's like early in the AM on a Sunday morning, and a lot of people may still be in their beds or just right now, just getting the children ready for breakfast or whatever might be going on in your household on this Sunday morning. Want to start the morning off with our Father's Prayer because that's the prayer that I can just, pray for everyone collectively. We all pray together to our Father, giving Him this honor on this day. It is Sunday for those of us who are Christians that follow practicing um, the day that we rest and give the day to the Lord, a day of rest. Um, so let's start with our Father's prayer early this morning. First, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who have trespassed against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy you are the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And I'm sure none of my moms could be with me this morning. I'm really early this morning, basically here talking to myself. But I'm sure someone throughout the day will come across this video. So if you do, please like, share, and if this is your first time ever being at the Casey McDaniel channel, I'd like for you to just subscribe so you'll get and hit the notification button so that you'll get the notifications whenever I come on and do a live or whenever I upload any videos, that you will know what's going on the Casey McDaniel channel. And I just wanted to talk to a few things to you today. Good things, not bad things. Nothing negative. I try not to come on my channel with anything around anything negative. Um, I just try to share and shed some light on some things and to also add to what I might know on some of these topics or some of the things that are trending, conversations, politics. And of course, this is an R. Kelly channel, platform, whatever. And the good news is that he is coming home. Okay, R. Kelly is coming home. And we want to keep our spirits lifted high in saying, welcome home to R. Kelly. And we're going to talk about today some stuff that's happened in politics with the governor of Maine. And I'm going to show you this video. And Trump spars at one of Trump giving meetings or whatever, giving executive orders on banning trans in sports. Okay? Trans in sports, meaning men can't play in women sports. Men can't play in women's sports. It's just common sense. But before we get into it, let's go to our Father's prayer and lift up his name and give him the honor and the glory this morning, because without him, none of us would have been able to open our eyes and see this day that has been given to us. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy you are the kingdom and the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. 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 So, like I was saying, we're going to start this conversation off with our President of the United States of the Americas, and that is with President Donald J. Trump and his executive order on trans that are banned from playing in women's sports, meaning men, biological men who transgender themselves to become women, and they participate in sports like boxing, basketball, maybe even soccer or whatever that these sports that women do play in. And men are also participating as opponents. And this is a ban that has been an executive order given and signed and delivered by the chief and commander of our country, meaning that this is outlawed in the United States of America. I'm going to talk a little slow on this one because a lot of people get in the bunches and then they panties and get upset and get, oh, so ignorant. So ignorant. Okay. Now, you may not have to agree on Trump on everything, but there's some things that he's just trying to put in place from his policy as he was elected our president of the United States of America by the people of the United States to be our commander in chief and our leader. And whatever comes from him should be enforced by every level of government that you have been put in place before President Biden, former President Biden, left office, made his departure. He made an announcement to the people of the United States of America, and that includes governor officials as well, those who served under government official with him, who has been put in under local, which is under the state, and those who are put at higher levels in federal government, who work in the federal government, that we are to have a peaceful transition, meaning that he's leaving and there's somebody else that's going to be replacing him. And that somebody was Donald J. Trump, 47th president, elected for his second term, lost in the last election to Biden, but regained his status as president for the United States in the election of 2024. So I'm saying here, this is my part of saying, and we're going to listen to the video first before we get into it. But I just wanted to just introduce what this live video is going to be on a discussion about. We're going to talk about, start off with the Donald Trump. We're going to start off with him because I said, let me sit on this one for a little while and then I marinate on it. And then I'll come back and give you my own opinion. And I said, this is the president, our chief and commander. I have to sink that in some people's head. Okay, this man is placed in the position to be our leader. He's at the head of the office as our leader, the head of our country. You have to respect him, even if you don't agree with a lot of things he might put out there. I don't know everything. I'm just going along as things are being, you know, actually given executive orders, policies, whatever. I ain't gonna catch everything, but this one I caught, and I thought it would be nothing but to do the right thing to share this on my platform and share this with those of you who have actually subscribed to me as MAGA or Trump supporters, or as I would say conservatives or whatever. While we were going over the election, while I was going in on and everybody was sharing their feelings about some of the things that President Trump said, some of the things his at the time, things that were coming from Biden and his administration, of course Kamala, who was put in place of Biden to continue the race because Biden had cognitively declined and he was not able to continue to go up against Trump for another term in his presidency. So anyway, let's get into it. Here's the video, y'all. Let me see if I can start it from the beginning.
President Trump sparring with Maine's governor during an event at the White House on Friday. The exchange occurring when Trump was discussing his executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports.
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one.
An uncomfortable moment, to say the least. Joining me now for more is constitutional law expert Robert McMurder. He is a...
Okay, I had to stop right there. I just wanted that clip, that part of President Trump and the governor of Maine conversation while they was there and he was giving his executive order on expanding transgender sports, on funding these kind of these kind of educational funding for athletes or whatever. Um from the federal government will not participate in giving any funding for that. And this is something that has to be enforced so that everybody will get a clear understanding from state to state. Whether you elected him as president in your state or not, he still won office. He's still the president of the United States of America. And it's now been over a month now that he's been in that office. Officially, the president of the United States since the inauguration. All these things about Trump that's been trending, all the stuff they trying to put out there. Instead, he said things they trying to say that, especially we celebrating Black History Month. It's been beautiful. In celebration of Black culture, Black art, Black economics, and you know the American history of Black people and what we have contributed to the United States of America, coming from slaves to going across Jim Crow to civil rights and all kind of other things that went on throughout history in America. Great people that that are forgotten but have done some wonderful things that we need to right now go back and do our history, do some research, do some studying, even with starting with our children. We did something with our children where I work at. A young kid came in. He did work on a Black History project, and I'm talking about preschoolers. And we asked families to participate as well with the children to do this kind of research. Sometimes people get a little sensitive about doing research on other people's culture, and it's basically not for white American or any other American, Asian or whatever to participate as far as doing research for us. We have to do our own research about our own people and shed some light on that. That's what Black history is about, us celebrating who we are as Africans or Caribbeans or people that came from all different places of the world of um African descendant, and they brought in some of the things that they have adapted into their culture in America, and share some of their stories of their ancestry, which is great. You can find Black history in anything that I know that has influenced you in your life, and people that you have had admired for some of their great gifts and their talents, or whatever they have brought to make the dream work. Um, some of the people I've been looking into, into this month of Black History celebration, is music, and some of the people that I have admired through Black history, through music. Curtis Mayfield, I admired his work. I also admired the work of the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. I am a child of her genre of music, like the Temptations. And as we go on, because I remember listening to them in my household, growing up as a child, listening to some of the things that they had shared in their craft and their art and everything about the voices in the soul of the music of Black people. Um, One of the people that I admire is Queen Aretha Franklin. Her story, there has been some tragedies and some things that has happened in her childhood of being a 12-year-old who was pregnated, and rumors were that the firstborn child she had, and I'm not going to repeat those things because I wasn't there. Aretha never said it. It wasn't never said from her as her living testimony or anything else like that. So let it die with her. Whatever the secret was, let it just die with her. And we just gonna move on and just say it is that she did have a child at 12, and she had several other children afterwards, from her marriages that her failed marriages. And one of the marriages that she had last married to was Glenn Truman. We all known him as a good actor, and he played on A Different World and other shows, and he played this. Actually, he played we know Glenn Truman played also in Cooley High. He was one of the star actors there. The writer as Preacher. So we are familiar with him, but him and Aretha had a great friendship towards her last days on of her life. Of course, they marriage failed because of, it was complicated. It was complicated. Much She was much older than him as well, so that was some of the things that may have happened during their marriage. I don't think it was anything as such as any kind of substance abuse or any kind of abuse. It was just that it was difficult for them to be around and as a couple and do certain things without one feeling a certain way of this, and things just happen, but they still remain good, close friends in the end of her journey. But Aretha Franklin, as I was discovering some of her gifted, her voice, I mean, this woman was the voice, drew out pain in religion. She's preached the gospel through some of her songs, and something about her and her voice and that talent that she had, that gift that she has. As I watched some of her story, the young lady who played her, Jennifer Hudson, who also has a phenomenal vocals. She's young, but she has a phenomenal life. She has phenomenal vocals, and I'm also said she had a tragic life as well through her journey through her career when she lost her family through violence. Her mother, her brother, her nephew, all that has been taken away from her, um, and how she was able to still continue to go on. Um, that those are the people that I wanted to talk about for my take on the history, on the things I discovered about Black America and Black history, culture, economics, art, etc. Okay, politics. Aretha Franklin led. Aretha Franklin voice was the voice for women during the civil rights movement. If you really listen to some of her songs, especially the song she sings about not every woman, but you make me feel like a natural woman, respect, and some of her other ones that came out and everything, no good, you're no good. As you go through her time of music, how she at that time, how she's been empowering women to gain their strength to be strong through whatever they going through with their husbands or with lovers or in their point as being a woman, recognized as a woman. How powerful her voice was, not just only for she was the black woman, of course, a black American woman, but she also was a woman that spoke to so many women about their life, of what they were feeling and what they were going through at the time. She is the queen of soul. Can't nobody take that away from her. So many that she have given birth to through her music. Just like I said about Curtis Mayfield, his voice during the time. He was political and he was strong and political about, like, you know, we people who are darker than blue, or what you go through, how we gotta be there to lift each other up, how we gotta be there to be our sister and our brother's keeper or whatever. It was so deep. His music was so deep. And he spoke the gospel through his song of what we were experiencing during those times. And as you go on and do your history through Black American history, you're going to discover some great, wonderful, talented things that has taken place, even through some of those bad things that were going on in our world at the time. Um, I also wanted to say Donald J. Trump, the president who they put these rumors out about, saying that Donald J. Trump wanted to cancel Black History Month, which is a lie, because he even came out and said it himself, and these are his own words that he spoke on how if it wasn't for some of the black votes, he would have never been reelected as the 47th president of the United States. Even that 20% that voted for him was a big significance to him. He didn't expect that to happen, but it has. He didn't realize how much he was loved by the black community, as much as hated by some of us. But he got just equal amount of love as well. And not every black man in America or black woman in America or child does not honor him as our president of the United States, that don't trust him to do the work that he has to go forward to do to make America continue to stay great, to bring some laws into place and to govern the people and to bring equal to all people in America, not just some, but all. Um, Everybody get a fair chance in America to come here, to work, to live their dreams, but we have to do it in decency and in order and in the right way, in the right manner of doing things. No, every time things ain't gonna be your way, but you gotta pray. If it's for you, God will give it to you. God will make a way for you. God is going to work it out for you. God got you. God is sovereign. He's omnipotent. God is mighty, and he is strong in battle and in power. So don't ever let nobody discourage you and say, no, you ain't going to get a chance with Trump in office. He's going to do this and do that. Feed you all that negativity and garbage and stuff. Anytime that stuff come on my Facebook page or even come up in my feed in YouTube, anything negative against our government, which is Trump, our chief and commander, I delete it. I don't want that garbage going on in my head. I have to live in America regardless to the fact I'm black, I'm a woman, whatever. I got to learn how to pray. And one of the things you have to learn how to do is pray, is that don't allow the enemy to get in your head, get eat it through you like cancer, get into your heart to make you believe certain things people will put out there for you to believe, unless you got to see it for yourself. Unless it got to come right in front of you and you got to see it right then and it just happened right there in front of you. I don't want to hear about it. Okay. Enough is enough. I mean, people have to respect the government. Or if you don't like what President Trump is putting in order, then you know what? Maybe you need to think about until all of this thing is over, is go stay and live in a country where you can do just about anything, whatever you want, you know, wherever you want. And good luck with that, because I don't think in no place in the world there is peace going on with any government, because it is what it is, and this is what is put in place for the United States people of the United States of America, and him being the governor. I mean, him being the federal, like he had to tell this woman who don't want to comply and want to give Trump a hard time of what he put in place for the people to do. He, as the commander in chief, spoke, and she wants to be disrespectful to the president. I follow the state and federal. We are the federal. This shows you how they so ignorant. He's sitting in the highest office over all people in every state. He's the highest office. And he's giving you the executive order, and you up here trying to fight with him, and then going to talk about making threats to send him to court. What kind of leadership is that? What kind of leadership is that? That what you are doing for the people of Maine? You and your feelings, and you gonna make these people be punished, and they put you in. He said you won't be elected governor again. And Trump put her in her place real quick. You gonna tell me you gonna send me to court for everybody else is complying, and here you don't want to comply, and you want to go at me with this guy, talk about you want to see him in court. He said that's gonna be an easy one. Everybody know you out of place. You are out of order. And I hope she gets this video. You're out of order. That you don't want to put something that is common sense as a law for men who transgender themselves to become females cannot participate in sports with women. Women have been brutally beaten, and women cannot overpower a man, regardless to the fact that he transgender himself to look like a woman. He's still a man biologically. Common sense. I know there's some women out there that want to act like men and act hard and think they could fight a man, and some might even get the opportunity to beat up some men because some men, rather not hit them back because they a man. But this is crazy that some governor would actually want a man to transgender himself to be a woman to actually be in sports with women. That's a little bit too much, and I think Trump got this one. God got this one. Not even Trump. God got it. But anyway, y'all, I wanted to talk on that and share that with you. I'll probably do some more. I'll do a recap later on. It's early in the morning. I know a lot of people getting ready probably for church. Some people getting ready for their kids to go to Sunday school, which is a good thing. I don't knock that. I don't have any small children in the house. There's no reason for me to get up and go to Sunday school because I had my Sunday school lessons as a child. And I choose if I want to go to worship and be around everybody else in the church, to be come together. But I'm not feeling these churches today. Like it's just too much going on. So I'd rather just sometimes get a sermon on, watching it here virtually. But my church goes virtually online. So my pastor will be calling about 10 o'clock in the morning for everybody to be online for us to have service or whatever, listening. I'll be doing my cooking and all that other stuff while I'm listening and taking down my notes. But anyway, um, we're gonna talk about the famous R&B singer, the king of R&B, and always will be the king of R&B, no matter what anybody try to say against him, about him. We got haters in the world, and we're gonna always have haters in the world. But let nobody steal your joy of how people, like I said, you recognize them for their great gifts, their skill, their talents, and whatever. And R. Kelly will always be recognized to me for his great contribution to American culture, American art, and to even things in politics, in history, politically. Because I think some of his music has tried to reach the black community, the black people out there, about some of the things we even do to ourselves. And nobody else is hurting us but us in the way we do certain things. Um, I love R. Kelly's music. I'm not gonna say every song he made I approve of it, but I'm saying I love R. Kelly's music. And when he gets into his singing and his writing, he touches down into your soul. And the thing also is that me and R. Kelly come from the same generation. So I can relate to a lot of things on his level in communication through song. A lot of things of what went on during that time of his life growing up, and the things he might have saw as well as I saw as a child with our families, things we experienced going to school, growing up in, um, the ghetto. You would say the ghetto. And I know, and it's funny how we call it the ghetto, but the ghettos we grew up in, the ones that I grew up in as a child, were not the ghettos we see today, or not the ghettos you seen where you seen totally poverty. I didn't grow up in something like roach infested, mice infested, dirty mattresses in the house, and nothing but a whole bunch of trash around your place that you live in. Like if you lived in the housing projects, or you lived in something like a tenement building or something of that nature, everywhere that I lived, which you may call a ghetto, were well kept ghettos. It's just that people were working, poor class people, working poor. They were poor, but they were working. Most people that I grew up around were working class people. I didn't see a whole bunch. Now, we know addicts, you could just see them from, any ghetto. You could see them from any neighborhood, any classification of people. You're going to have your so called class of people that are in your community that have addictions, habits that actually totally took control over them. It's everywhere. In every community, it doesn't matter whether you're rich, poor, black, white. It's just the way people do things now. Black people, of course, in America, they will show they life right out in the front, in the opening of people. And some people know how to keep theirs hidden and in their home, or hidden in their community, or whatever. But everywhere there's junkies and addicts and crazy people and mothers that are, you know, doing certain things they shouldn't be doing in front of their children, or mothers that are multiple children from different men or whatever, from different communities. It's everywhere. So it's just the way some of the things we do things. But black people, ever think God gave everybody just an equal amount of their class? Okay, I think God gave everybody an equal amount of their class. So we're gonna celebrate. Robert Sylvester Kelly is home, coming home real soon. It just has not been in the public yet on any big platforms. I think that's something that and his attorneys and everything, because of what's been going on around his case, because of the sensitive conversation, it's because of all of the stuff that was said about him, the things that were done. You got crazy people out there. You actually got some nuts out there. And what they have put planted in people to believe about this man. So you have to be very careful about some of the things around discussing him, because some people are so disgusting. They don't even do their own research. They just go and hear something somebody said and they just all go follow along and jump on the bandwagon with it. But it's good to always, before you jump on any bandwagon about any accusations or any rumors or any scandal about somebody, do your own research. Do your own research. That's all I got to say, especially when it comes about rumors and gossip and everything. I am a big fan as well as Aaliyah's, but I try to tiptoe around conversations around Aaliyah, because then people want to pop up and say things about R. Kelly with Aaliyah. So what? So what? So what? That's how I feel. Because Aaliyah, when she was living, she never made any open statement that R. Kelly done any such a thing. These coming from the mouths of other people. People that could be lying, people that's just jealous. And even if it did happen, it's not my business. If her family approved of the relationship, because look at Rashonda Landfair. She got on there and said her parents approved of her seeing Robert Sylvester Kelly. She said this herself on her. If that's Rashonda Landfair, supposed to been the one in the video, she said the family was okay with it. Her mother didn't make a fuss about it. Her father didn't make a fuss about it. And the only person that was out there spreading the rumors and calling it out was Sparkle. And look what happened to her career. It didn't make her look any better. It didn't bring her any kind of shine. It gave her 5 or 10 minutes of fame or whatever she was looking for, because she did something with R. Kelly and she wanted to be the protege or whatever. And then when Aaliyah came along, she was a young girl with some talent and some gifts and some vocals or whatever, and was selling that look and that image to the population of most young women and young people at the time. So she got pushed aside. So now she mad and she hating on the fact that this one is what they wanted to work alongside with R. Kelly. They chose Aaliyah to be placed Sparkle. Okay, so Sparkle got jealous, got mad, and then her little niece was probably up a runner up. She brought her niece around and tried to get her niece on board, but it didn't happen. And guess what? She went around and got rumors out there saying that R. Kelly did these things with her niece in the video, which I never saw the video, so I can't really speak on the video. But I'm just going on what how I feel what might have happened and what Sparkle put in place to happen so that she can destroy R. Kelly because she was angry with him. You know, woman, you know what we can do, try to do anyway. Especially when we not really in our place in our life at that time, knowing the Lord. Some of the stupid and foolish things we lose our head trying to do, or to take somebody down or destroy someone character. But you got to remember, when all of this stuff took place, these women was young. R. Kelly was young, and so were the women. He didn't do anything that all kind of other young men didn't do in their foolishness of their youth. When it came to being with, making bad decisions or bad choices in relationships, and I wouldn't even say it was a bad choice. I wouldn't even say it was a bad choice. Let me say not made making the choices that they made at the time that they made them, because they were young. He was young, and all the women that was surrounding him were young too. And he ain't the only man and won't be the last man to have been with women way more younger than who he's been. He is. Most men are. Most men are like that. When they discard something, when they get older and go for something new and younger, they do it. That's why women stay on top of beauty parlors, hair salons, which is the beauty part of the hair salons, trying to do things, trying to do all kind of extra things to themselves to keep their youth and their beauty. Women go through those changes in life, and then there's just some women that just like myself that just take it one day at a time. Ain't gonna try to drive myself crazy. So they do it. It is what it is. Ain't nobody winning, actually. When a man leaves his beautiful wife from her youth and go out there to try to find a new wife and she's still living, he ain't winning. So you got to give those things to God and let God handle it better than we can. That's all I got to tell you. As from speaking from my point of view. So we talked about the governor of Maine and Donald Trump's spar. We talked about the recognition of Black History Month and our black artists and those who have made great contributions to black culture, art, and economics. Aretha Franklin, R. Kelly, Curtis Mayfield, The Temptations, The Supremes, Motown, of course, Barry Gordy, and also so many. It's just so many of them out there that were great in their craft. So many greats were out there in us, and that's not all who we were. Donald J. Trump introduced us to a character. I forgot the man's name when he did his Black History Month, when he did Black History, when he did his what you call it at the White House on Black History, and he spoke on a black military black man who died for on one of the first line of black men to die during one of our revolutionary wars or whatever. And he did such a great job of talking about it and dedicating his statue to America culture, to the American culture, art, and history. So I was saying the rumors people were saying about this man and talking about this man, uh, um, especially on news channels or whatever, when they want to stir things up and get the population of the people to come after Trump and say he's not a good president and trying to get this man to be um what they call when they do to the president, they somebody talked to me in the chat. It's a word they use that when they want to tell the president to impeach him. To impeach our president of the United States of the Americas. Yep, I'm up early in the morning, but I'll probably come back with y'all later. And we could do a recap or continue conversation about this that I talked about with you this morning about the governor of Maine, also about Black History Month, the recognition of some of the greatest that ever been with us here that made great music, they great gifts, they great talents, and they economics and everything else that goes along with black people and how far we have come. We come this far by faith. Nothing's gonna turn us around. And we gotta keep looking up and stop looking behind us, but look forward. I'm looking at something here with Mega Evers In this movie, The Help, some history there from Mega Evers, and he was also gunned down and killed in front of his family. I had a friend of mine, she went to Mega Evers College in Brooklyn, New York. You know, it's just some things in our history about how some of us was brutally treated for no reason, just because of the color of our skin, and some of the things we had went through our struggle. And we made it not only better for ourselves, but for other people. Because if the blacks didn't go through what they went through, some of these people that's coming over here that ain't considered to be black, but are different, would have been also brutally treated the way we were brutally treated. We took it all because some couldn't take the pain we took. We took it all. We took it all for everybody to get here and have a fair chance and an opportunity. Well, anyway, y'all, gotta go. Come back with you later on this afternoon. So you all be good. You all be blessed and be safe. Peace.